Court of Star Chamber, active in England from the late 15th century until its abolition in 1641, was a unique judicial body that evolved from the medieval King's Council into a distinct court under Henry VII in 1487. Named for the star-patterned ceiling of its meeting room in Westminster Palace, it was designed to supplement the common law courts, addressing cases that required swift resolution or involved individuals too powerful for ordinary justice systems. Its history reveals a mix of innovation, efficiency, and later, infamy, offering a fascinating lens into early modern English law and society. Let's dive into some key aspects of its cases based on what's known about its operations. The Star Chamber handled a wide range of cases, both civil and criminal, often focusing on matters where the common law courts were deemed inadequate, either due to corruption, complexity, or the status of the parties involved. Early on, under Henry VII, it was praised for its speed and flexibility, dealing with about half its caseload in real property disputes. By the Tudor period, particularly under Henry VIII and his Chancellor Cardinal Wolsey, 1515 to 1529, its scope expanded dramatically. Wolsey encouraged direct appeals to the court, bypassing lower courts, and it took on cases like perjury, slander, forgery, fraud, riots, and breaches of the peace. Annual caseloads grew from around 150 in the 1530s to over 700 by 1600, reflecting its rising prominence. Jurisdiction was broad but not unlimited. It couldn't handle capital felonies or treason. Crimes punishable by death were outside its purview. Instead, it tackled misdemeanors and developed legal concepts we now take for granted, like attempt, conspiracy, and criminal libel. Punishments were creative and often harsh, but stopped short of execution. Fines, imprisonment, especially in the Fleet Prison, public humiliation via the pillory or stocks, whipping, branding, and mutilation were all on the table. A standout example from the 1590s involves Edward Owen, who attacked his grandfather with a cudgel, possibly causing his death. The Star Chamber fined and jailed him, then ordered him whipped naked before a portrait of his deceased grandfather. A bizarre twist, blending shame and spectacle. Under the Stuarts, particularly James I and Charles I, the court's role shifted toward political enforcement. It became a tool to suppress sedition, anything perceived as undermining royal authority. High-profile cases included the prosecution of Puritans like William Prynne in 1637, who, along with Bastwick and Burton, faced ear cropping and branding for criticising the church. Charles V leaned on it heavily during his personal rule, 1629 to 1640, bypassing Parliament to target dissenters and enforce royal proclamations, like those against enclosures or the collection of ship money. This era cemented its reputation for secrecy and arbitrariness. No juries, no appeals, just privy councillors and judges deciding fates behind closed doors. Specific cases highlight its dual nature as both a problem solver and an oppressor. In the early 16th century, it helped Henry VII curb the landed gentry's power post-Wars of the Roses, levelling the playing field for less influential litigants. Later in Wales, after the Laws in Wales Acts, 1535 to 1542, it was a go-to for gentry evicting landowners, showing how local elites exploited its authority. By 1632, it even banned all news books after foreign diplomats complained about biased war coverage, an early crackdown on press freedom. The court's flexibility let it address corruption, trade disputes, and enclosures, but its lack of transparency fueled its downfall. The Long Parliament axed it in 1641, reacting to its Stewart-era abuses, leaving behind a legacy that's equal parts legal pioneer and cautionary tale. What's striking is how the Star Chamber mirrors tensions still relevant today, balancing efficiency against fairness, power against accountability. Its cases show a court that could innovate law but also warp it under political pressure. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel.